Sup, sup. Sup, everybody. So we're talking about Cyno today. Alright, I'm gonna keep the music in the background so you guys don't absolutely lose your minds as we delve into this this rabbit hole that we all know as Genshin Impact character discussions, because we're all free to have our own opinions about certain characters, but objectively there is some level of truth and false when we talk about certain characters, especially when it comes to their performance and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, right, is Genshin really that complicated of a game where performance matters? I don't think so, but especially when people are spending money pulling on characters. Let's go into the game first. As you guys see, the Spar Abyss has reset it. Today, not gonna show my face. Alright, I'm really tired. I've been running around all day. I don't want like a 7 billion nit lamp shining in my face for the next 2 hours while I'm discussing with you guys about the potentials of this new character. That personally, I think I've said enough times that I really enjoy playing him, but at the same time, people will, you know, like, it's, I guess it's contributing somehow to the conversation when you tell people that, you know, just pull for who you like. Do you like Cyno? You do? Oh. But there's definitely a portion of the people here who are just wanting to know, like, just like, you know, how good is he? Where is his potential? Like, what about next patch? Is he gonna get better with better supports? You know, I think I opened up Pandora's box with yesterday's video, and it's interesting because in the very video it says it's something along the lines like why everybody is scared to say Cyno sucks. But I didn't specifically say he sucks, right? But why people don't want to come out and say it? Because a lot of people's verdict seems to be that his damage is very mid, and in some cases even below mid, at least right now. Even with his signature weapon comparatively to other characters with other signature weapons, he just his damage feels, if you know what I mean. Like that, I think this summarizes his this character quite well. It's just like it's enough to 36 star the Abyss though. But then again, right, like, who are we kidding? Is 36 starring the Abyss really, like, for people who at least care about that stuff, like, is this still an accomplishment? When people come up and say like, oh my god, I 36 star the Abyss, I think it's a congratulations is due, especially to people who done it for the first time or newer players. But for the majority, it's like 36 starring the Abyss doesn't really matter anymore unless you're doing it with some really wacky team with some really weird min-maxy stuff like Cyno solos Abyss 36 stars or something like that, right? Like Cyno level 69 Cyno solo Spyro Abyss with 1 HP. Stuff like that. Or like I soloed the entire Abyss 36 stars blindfolded, playing backwards and inverting my hands and controls. You know, just like weird stuff like that that's still impressive, because the game is definitely not going to put those extreme difficult or hard limitations on clearing the Abyss or content, right? It's designed so that people should be able to do it as long as they put some level of effort into it. For reference, I cleared the Abyss with last stream, I cleared the Abyss with the level 40 Cyno, talent level 111. Not 36 star, but still cleared it. And today, trust me, we're going to get into the conversation of people saying like, well, you know, Cyno's best DPS team is actually the national team. And I've been talking about this for like the longest time, and people keep trying to ignore my points when I say this. The national team literally is like the best team because of the 3 supports that you run with it, not because of the main the character that's like leading it, the on-field character or like the driver, right? A lot of this is why I had a huge problem with people keep saying like, oh my god, right, like C0 Raiden national team so OP. Well, national team Raiden, it's all about cycling through their bursts as well, and like that's just a whole like now with Cyno it just proves like the national team is broken because of the 3-4 stars that you run with it, not necessarily because of the person on field. I can throw Barbara on field and that would be like Barbara national would be the best Barbara team. It's just very, you know, like it at this point everybody should just be running the national team. Every national team is the best variation of all characters. Zhongli national team is actually the best team ever too. Did you guys know that? His best, like, highest DPS output, by the way. But when we talk about Cyno, right, we want to talk about how, because let me get something really clear with you guys. When people want to talk about characters, when people want to pull characters, they want these characters to function in their best. We want Cyno to take what's available in his kit and maximize that, whether it be playstyles, damage output, rotations. It must feel fluid. Things should just flow into one another. There has to be a way to construct a team where it feels like this character is living in his own element. He is thriving. He is at the peak of his existence. But when it comes to Cyno, there's always something wrong with with it doesn't matter whatever team you throw him in, there's always something wrong, right? There's always something that feels like, hey, why is it like this? Can't I fix this problem? Right? Why is this problem existing in this team? Like, so this is not his best team, because when you think of, let's say, Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Yelan, and Zhongli, that team is flawless. That team is flawless to the point where every single rotation is within a couple seconds, if not like 1 or 2 seconds of the CDs, or the downtiming is just seamlessly transitioned all together, right? Same with Raiden national team. Although I'm not the biggest fan, I do think it's a good team. I don't think it's broken, but it's a really good team because of the supports. Raiden national works especially particularly well for free-to-plays because it has 3 4-stars that are easily accessible, as well as Raiden C0 already activating the team's biggest, like, it basically overcomes the team's biggest problem, which is energy regen, making sure that all the characters can cycle through their burst. It's all about burst uptime, that team, right? And Raiden flows into that really well with her utility. Raiden doesn't necessarily add more, like, insane amount of damage to that team. In fact, I think Raiden in that team is pretty mid when it comes to damage output, but her utility. So those kind of teams, why people love those teams, is because they have such good synergies. It flows together so well that you almost, like, at times forget about the characters and stuff. You're just focused on the combat and the fluidity of combat, right? When we talk about team constructions and why we always constantly find good teams for these characters, is because we want to get to that euphoric feeling where it's like you forget about the 4 individual pieces of a team and they all meld into one. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense for you guys, because this is the best way I can explain it to you guys. Like, when a team works, when a character is in their element, in their best team, the team should disappear. It feels like 4 of them become one unit. And that's like peak Genshin enjoyment, in my opinion. That's what all characters should strive for when you construct teams for them. So, Thinken Gadget says he's a worse Kaching personally. For me, when I compare the two of them, I don't. How should I put this? I don't compare damages anymore. Okay, so this is the thing I want to get out of the way. But I do know, I am aware of his damage output, and yes, it's not as good as Kaching, but also for me, right now, it's not a fair comparison because my Kaching is C5. so listen, my Kaching is C5 right now, so it's by far a comparison that leans heavily into Kaching. So I don't think it's necessarily fair. What I want to compare is the fluidity of their team compositions and efficiency when they are in their element. If I pour resources into a character, I expect them to function at a certain level, right? Like, can we all agree on this? When you guys pull a character, or when you guys get a character, whether it be luck and you decide to build this character, you are expecting this character to, at the very least, has a high functional team available for it. It doesn't matter, like, if it does more damage than like Raiden National. Who gives a shit, right? I could care less if Cyno can out DPS Kaching, Hu Tao, Raiden, like any of these characters. I like, at this point, I don't think that matters very much, in my opinion, when I play this game. But I want that feeling. I want that feeling that when I can play him in a perfect team where I forget that I'm playing 4 different characters and I am playing one character. I have Like all my favorite teams has that feeling. When I'm like in the midst of combat, I don't even know that I'm playing 4 characters anymore. It just all feel like one character. I don't get hiccuped, but like I don't get taken out of the combat experience because, oh well, like how come this is not ready, how come that's not ready, oh how come, you know, I'm doing this, how come that's missing, oh like I wish this didn't happen. And oftentimes I'll go back outside, I'll tweak it. Maybe I need more energy regen, maybe I just need to put more stats in raw damage. For example, if they scale off of HP, defense, attack, EM, energy regen, anything. Right now it feels like when I take 1 step forward, I have to take 2 steps back for Cyno. And I understand, because this is also due to the fact that he just doesn't have enough supports right now that works well with his kit. Once the Dendro Archon comes out, I am almost 100% certain, it has to be, that he's going to get better. Once the Dendro Archon comes out, he has to be. If the Dendro Archon isn't designed to somehow facilitate Cyno, then this character is gonna be very yikes. And I'm not talking about damage again. Remember, I'm not talking about damage. I'm simply just talking about the experiencing him in like a high functioning team. Manila is asking, bro, Cyno's weapon can work with anyone else except him. I have the damn weapon, but not him. Yeah, his weapon is a good weapon. Like I got his weapon as well because his weapon is incredibly good. Look at this, okay? So what his weapon does is it gives crit rate. First and foremost, it gives crit rate, which is a very, very, very good weapon already with that raw stat, right? And mine is at level 70. I'm trying to get it to level 80. And maybe it's going to become 40 something percent. That's huge. That's a lot of crit rate. And then from here, the character gives 52% of their elemental mastery as bonus attack. So it's basically an elemental mastery scaled back into attack, right? So let's see if I can find another spear character. Like Zhao is a good example. Zhao is a good example. Although you won't run, you will not run elemental mastery on Zhao, but if you have some elemental masteries in any of his like I need to find like a spear character that actually I've built up. Oh, for example, Xiangling. You know, Xiangling can actually use this weapon really, really well. Out of curiosity, I'm just gonna throw my why like for example this one, like I can throw this back onto Xiangling. Actually, that's my Hu Tao one, no? Okay, Hu Tao's running this one, whatever. Oh my god, okay, here, let's just throw all my Xiangling artifacts back on her. Here. Pyro. This one's Pyro, right? Yeah. Throw this one back on her. Crit rate, crit damage, blah blah blah. And then the flower piece, just pick up out some random piece. I don't want to yoink Yoimiya's. Maybe we'll take Eula's. This one's good. Like 58, 134, 116. Probably energy regen is not enough. Do we run energy regen for her? I think maybe this one. Then we have to take Hu Tao's one, right? Take this one. And again, you don't have to run the 4-piece Crimson Witch. It's really not. Wait, no. Her set isn't even the Crimson. What am I doing? It's Yelan's set. It's the oh. This is her set. Excuse me, I was like, something felt very weird. And then there's I remember she has an energy regen piece here. Energy recharge piece. Not this one. Is it this one? It's one of these. Oh no, she's already using it. And then wait, then where's her pyro piece? There has to be a pyro cup somewhere here. This one. There it is. This is the pyro piece. And then the last one is this one. Crit damage. There you go. There you go. 74, 153. Because of this weapon, right? And what was her elemental mastery? 96. So 52% of that, there's like 20 something attack. Okay, it's not that much because my substats, I never really prioritize EM for this set for Xiangling. But if you have some EM for Xiangling, it's pretty good. Like it's a sizable amount as a passive, right? And then when an elemental skill hits opponents, the dream of the equipped character will gain 28% of the elemental mastery as bonus attack, max 3 stacks. So then what can happen with Xiangling is you can actually start stacking EM on her, which actually scales incredibly well into this character. If you guys know, some free-to-plays run Dragon's Bane on Xiangling, which I think if you like an R5 Dragon's Bane is going to be better than this, but Xiangling is definitely one of those characters that can take advantage of. To a degree, I remember people were running like EM on Hu Tao as well. Like if you go to Hu Tao's artifacts and you go to here, I'm sure some people are running elemental mastery. Yeah, like 12.3%. There's like the same as people running attack. So if you want to like, if you have this weapon and not Staff of Homa, instead of running HP on Hu Tao, maybe you can like just hard commit on EM here and try to go for EM substats on her as well. I don't even know how much EM I have on my Hu Tao. Like this is not her set, but again, like I keep saying, I've never focused on EM in the past for any of the characters because there wasn't any additional benefits. Now with this weapon, all I'm saying is the EM stat. Oh my god, where did the weapon go? With this weapon, all I'm saying is the EM stat suddenly has a lot more value in spear characters. And it just happens that a lot of these spear characters like Hu Tao, Xiangling, they all benefit from EM. Having EM. Right? So, it's a good weapon. That's all I'm trying to say. It's a good weapon even if you don't have Cyno. In fact, I think... should I say it, chat? I don't want to piss people off, but I think I should just say it. I think right now, as it stands, this weapon is more valuable than the character. Yikes, I said it. Holy shit. I said it. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We can handle it. It's fine. Currently, out of all the teams that I played, I made a video talking about this, right? Cyno needs somebody that can pulls characters, like the mobs, together because without that, he's just mighty difficult because he ends up chasing enemies, and yeah, he has 18 seconds for duration, but it just feels like it just feels like a chore at times, chasing all the enemies because you hit them so far away. And when it comes to bosses and single target damage, when he doesn't knock them back, Cyno isn't necessarily the best single target damage either. But having that, like basically having an Anemo character on the team with a Dendro character is good. And then the final piece of the puzzle right now is Zhongli. So because his interruption resistance is actually quite doo-doo as well for some reason. Even though his burst skill says he gains interruption resistance, it honestly doesn't feel like I feel like he actually lost interruption resistance, believe it or not. Liu the Rick says you need to multiply by 1.36 of your total EM to get the final bonus attack from the Staff of Scarlet Sands. Okay, yeah, because of the additional stacks, right? Because you use your elemental skill and you get like I forgot, it was like 20 something percent, and like it stacks 3 times. Yeah, 1.36. So yeah, you get an additional bonus amount of EM for using his for using his staff. And my question actually is, can Hu Tao stack it with 3 charge attacks, or she has to use elemental skill 3 times? I think it's just attack, right? When an elemental skill hits opponent. So Hu Tao can does it mean Hu Tao with 3 auto attacks can proc this effect? Right? Test it, dude. Just test it. I was like, yeah, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure you just need to auto attack with Hu Tao 3 times. Hu Tao cannot? Oh. She can't? Well, that sucks. Because I was thinking that's actually not a bad weapon for Hu Tao. Bam. You know what? It actually kind of fits her. Doesn't it? I don't know. Kind of. It kind of fits her. Hu Tao can with her flower. Let's see. Let's head into a domain. So let's just go over here. Okay. Man, that sucks. If Hu Tao can't even activate its effect. Ooh. Let's see it. Nope. Did I get the... Wait, there's no indicator that I got the effect. Where's the indicator? There's a bonus here, 42. Okay, let's leave. All right, we need to first get a baseline for our stuff and see when it. All right, so it's 21. So we did get it. Did we get all 3 stacks though? It doubled. It was like 100%. $1.36, right? So 21 times 1.36 at max stacks. Huh. Wait, what? How come we were at 41%? No, I mean, how come we were at 41? Isn't that like 100%? So we should gain half of it. So just by equipping it, we already have. So okay, let's go back to Staff of Homa. It's still 21. Oh, as attack bonus. Okay. I'm dumb. Wait. Attack 715 1066. Oh, yo, I can't even compare like that because they're not at the same level, and I think their base attack is different as well. The Dream of the Scarlet Santa will be gained for 10 seconds. Your current card will gain 20% as bonus attack. Okay. 28% as bonus attack. 891, right? And so 28%. 28% times. That's 84%. Right? 84%. So 84 times. What's my attack again? I mean, what's my EM? 84% times 21. 17.64. What are these numbers? I'm supposed to gain 17.64 attack at 3 stacks, okay? 17.64. So we're looking for 17.64 plus 891. $908. Or if we round upwards, it's 909. Once we hit 909, that means we have all 3 stacks. Is the math right? I think it's right, right? No, we're not testing her like damage right now. We're just testing how long it takes to get her to 3 stacks. Right? We want to see 908 or 909 because it's 908.64. So I'm guessing it's going to round up. All right, let's test this out. So remember, right now her attack is 891. Once this weapon max stacks, her attack should be 909. 909, okay? So I'm gonna try 3 auto attacks and see if it works. So I activated it. Fuck me, dude. Fuck me, dude. Okay. 3021. Still 3021. Still 3021. 3026. So we got one. Yeah, it doesn't work, chat. It doesn't work. I mean, we charge attack, so I think it's being activated by her butterflies. But if you hit more than one enemy, her butterfly activates 3 times. Tech the Virus says, how is the support going to solve his long queue outlasting buffs like TTDS, Noblesse, Kazuha? Well, the thing is, does he outlast Kazuha? Because Viridescence is 10 seconds and Kazuha's burst lasts 8 seconds, no? That's 18 seconds. Wait, am I missing something? If you swirl with his burst Electro, this thing lasts 8 seconds, and Viridescence lasts for 10 seconds. Oh, Viridescence only procs on field. No wonder. That sucks. Ah. Well. For a second, I thought like, wait a minute, this is actually perfect. 8 seconds plus 10 seconds, that's 18 seconds. Wow, Hoyover's big brain genius move. They thought about this way ahead of time. Way to go, Hoyovers. Way to go for your own game mechanics to screw your... It could have been so damn good. Would it not? Okay, so I think eventually we will be dropping an emo from this team. I don't know. I feel like eventually we will be dropping a Nemo from this team. This is gonna become the Dendro Archon. I think Zhongli stays, right? Instead of the 40% shred from VV, we get Zhongli shred with his shield, and I think his shield lasts 20 seconds. Let's go, baby. Let's go. 20 seconds. This is the only thing that outlasts Cynos, and so this shield goes on last. So out of all the rotations, you do like boom 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 boom, do your thing, go to like Dendro Archon, do her thing, go to Zhongli, like apply the shield, and then immediately go into Cyno, use his burst, and then that shield should last you the entirety of the burst. If your Zhongli is a tanky enough boy. That means this shield will offer you the protection and also the resistance shred for the full 20 seconds. Not bad. Sakutaro says, I'm not so sure if Dendro Archon will work that well with Cyno. I mean, if she doesn't work with Cyno, like if they have no synergy, that is just, that's however shooting themselves in the foot. Like, I think going forward, all those characters you see from the original trailer, like nobody's gonna pull up. Like, I mean, some people will, but like very few people will get excited for them. I was extremely excited for Cyno. I'm not like, again, I want to reiterate this. I am not disappointed at his damage. I'm disappointed in his lack of synergy right now. Like, I'm very disappointed in the fact that I'm not able to pair him in a team that makes him feel like he's functioning at the potential he should. His kit is very fun to play, but it just feels like for the most part it's locked behind some sort of deficiency, right? Like whether it's rotations, like Teki was mentioning, also buffs not lasting long enough, right? Meaning that he can't reach his full damage peak. Also conflicts in teams where you need too many things, and for example, having Yelan was a good benefit to adding extra damage, because Cyno does need help with damage in some scenarios where you need the damage to clear certain things at a certain speed. He does need that assistance, but now you can't run that because you need someone to pull smaller enemies together. Venti is a good option as well, but then if you run into, you know, bigger mobs and you still want to use Cyno, then you end up having to use either Kazuha, Sucrose, or if you're just that big of a Chad when using Venti, you can still use Venti. I'm not saying you can't, but I think Kazuha, for the most part, his sucking capabilities is just as good. So I probably would just go with Kazuha. And then you run into the problem with Kazuha, like, sure, now you group enemies, but then the Viridescence buff doesn't last very long, right? It lasts for 10 seconds. And Zhongli's shield lasts for 20 seconds. And you can have the entirety of Zhongli's shield on Cyno if you use it last, but then you're wasting a lot of your Viridescence. So when you play that team, Viridescence has to go last, because you only get 10 seconds and his burst lasts 18 seconds. And if you end his burst early, it just feels like a huge waste. But if you run Kazuha, Zhongli, and then with Cyno, with a Dendro character, you essentially need like 1 to 2 Favonius weapons to help him get his energy back, because you're building so much EM in his kit, because his EM scales back into his damage, and you need that extra damage. You can't forego that damage for uptime. But then again, he does no damage when he doesn't use his burst, meaning like you have to get the uptime. Without the uptime, forget about your EM. Your EM literally doesn't matter if you don't have uptime. If you're spending 50% of the time without his burst, why are you even playing him? Cyno should be a character where his burst should be down for maximum 3 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds, because you need to give enough time to reapply your buffs, reapply your shields, reapply your Dendro, and go for round 2. But if you, for example, if your Cyno's burst ends and you cycle through Kazuha, your Dendro, MC, your Zhongli 2 to 3 times, do you know how wasteful that is? And right now, that's the problem. Is that there's not a team that can fully deal with all these problems flawlessly. It's either you can't group mobs, but you can have good enough energy uptime, or you can group mobs, you can have good energy uptime. Let's say you run Raiden, right? You run Cyno, Raiden, Dendro, MC, and then you run Kazuha, right? Then you have enough uptime and you have the debuff, but then you don't have the protection. You get smacked around, or you could get smacked around. Like, you have to play much better, right? So then there's that problem. Or you drop the Dendro MC and you put Zhongli back. Now you lack damage. You lack the on-field damage. You have all the protection, you have all the, you know, debuffs and everything, but now you lack damage. So this team could also work, because then you have Raiden facilitating his downtime and also supercharging him. But then why would you even have Cyno in that team? Then why don't you just play Raiden hyper carry? You know, like Raiden, Sarah, with Bennett and Kazuha. In that scenario, Sarah would do a better job than Cyno in funneling more power back to Raiden. It's just it's like a rock paper scissors situation. They're like, You go with rock, there's paper. You go with paper, there's scissor. You go with scissor, there's rock. It just never works. You're stuck. Manila says this character has a three-way deadlock. You'll always lack something. Yes, that's my biggest problem with him right now. And you know, and I said it didn't used to be this way. Right? Think back, people. Think back. When Hu Tao first came out, all the pieces needed for Hu Tao to function at her peak, at her best, were already in the game. Right? Xinqiu was out and available. Zhongli was out and available. Albedo was out and available. Right? And to say Hu Tao, those are Hu Tao's best functioning characters. And then fast forward to nowadays, it just feels like when a character comes out, a lot of the units that you need to make this character feel good is not out yet. I guess we can cut Hoyoverse some slack in that, well, Dendro is new and they're building new teams and metas around Dendro, so they are releasing characters when, you know, there aren't any supports. Then, then why not release Dendro Archon this patch and then release Cyno next patch? Like, I can't help but think that it's just to incentivize. I mean, it's the same thing with Yaimiko. It was the same thing with Kokomi. When Kokomi came out, her artifacts weren't even out. They had to wait like a patch or something to get her artifacts out. Then Yaimiko came out. We had to wait like 3 patches to get an upgrade on her artifacts. I don't know. It just feels kind of bad because I'm sure a lot of people were excited to play Cyno, but it's not that the character doesn't do enough damage. Like, I want to correct this, right? A lot of people keep going back to, but his damage is like nobody give. I mean, they give a shit, but really it's just how uncomfortable right now it is to play this character. It is very uncomfortable in most scenarios. Like, unless you have some god tier artifacts, like your artifacts have to, because the only problem you can circumvent right now, like the 2 issues you can circumvent is damage. You can do more, get more stats in EM, or like just better artifacts to do damage, crit damage, you know, all that stuff. Artifacts can solve that. Energy regen, artifacts can solve that. If you have god tier artifacts on all pieces and you're able to circumvent certain issues like energy regen and elemental mastery stacking on this character, yes, you can essentially solve 2 out of the 3, I mean 2 out of the many problems. Because the problems you cannot solve are utility features, such as Kazuha's pulling, like pulling enemies in, right? Zhongli's shield to help him not get knocked around as much. These 2 things you cannot make up for with artifacts. So yes, to a certain degree, if you've spent the last 6 months farming artifacts for Cyno, right? You just have every single piece. Let me show you guys my pieces. And I'm telling you, these pieces are not enough. And they're by no means bad pieces, right? For example, this one, this needed to be energy regen and this needed to be EM for this piece to be considered like decent. Like this for Cyno is like a very okay piece. It's like, whatever. Yeah, it's a mid flower. Very mid flower for Cyno. This one's getting a little bit better, but this should have been like elemental mastery. Like, I mean, attack 10.5%. Not bad. Not the worst case scenario. This is a better piece. This is like a high mid tier piece, right? Like, I'm telling you guys, my artifacts are not like crap, but they're not good enough. So, elemental mastery, sands, crit damage 20%, attack 11 point, and then 4.5%. Not enough. This attack should have went into energy regen would have helped actually more. Because, listen, when I say Cyno doesn't do anything without his burst, I literally mean he doesn't do anything with his burst. Like, listen, this talent should just be non-existent. It's all about these two. Like, listen, people, it's all about these two. Like that, this is where 99% of his damage is. So if you're not using your burst skill, just forget it. Forget about it. Forget about him. Oh, that's also very sad. It just feels like a portion of his kit is completely cut from being useful. I mean, it's the same thing with Zhao, but Zhao at least has his elemental skill outside of his burst that can do insane amounts of burst damage if you needed to. Here's my Electro Cup. Like, come on, people. You guys can't say these are bad artifacts. It took me a while to get them. Like, I've been farming for Cyno for a good part of like 2 months now. This is a pretty good cup piece for Cyno, at least. Pretty decent. Pretty good RNG. And look at my headpiece. I got this today. Look at that crit rate. It rolled once, twice, 4 times into crit rate on my headpiece. Sure, these substats are kind of yikes. You would want like EM, you would want like attack percentage, and then you would want energy regen. But when you rolled into crit rate 4 times, it rolled into, I think, flat HP once, right? Like, stat wise, this is a good rolled piece, but like the other substats are kind of lacking. But realistically, these are pretty good stats, and I have 120% energy regen. Like, oh my god, bro! Like, this is so, like, wait. I was like, wait, what? That didn't look right. Okay. 84.5184. Like, I can easily get crit. Like, once I level Cyno all the way up, I can easily get the crit damage much higher. Like, crit damage probably will be somewhere around like 205, like 200%. I'll be 84.5 crit rate to like 200% crit damage, which is very consistent DPS output. Because my Cyno is not leveled up. I had the privilege of testing on someone else's account a C0R1 Cyno, and his stats were just around the same. His was like 70-something% crit rate, and it was like 215 crit damage or something like that. Like, pretty good stats as well. And that's why I'm able to tell you guys all this. Like, goddamn, this character, once he's fully built up doing like damage at C0 and R1, that means you even pulled for his weapon. It's just like, it's okay. You know, it's good damage output, but like I keep telling you guys, there's something missing for him. His problem is also elemental. His problem was energy recharge. And I think most people will. If you want to play him in a high functioning team, you better kill the enemies with 1 burst rotation. If you don't kill the enemies with the 1 burst rotation and you got to go into your 2nd rotation on the same floor, same enemy, hey, good luck, buddy. I'm just saying, you better have enough Favonia's weapon to like arm an entire nation. Like, at this point, I probably need to switch this to a Favonia's weapon. I'm running a Favonia's weapon over here, and I'm running a Favonia's weapon over here. Like, no jokes, you need 3 Favonia's weapons to funnel back into Cyno, especially with him only running 120 energy recharge. Like, man, does it feel bad. Does it feel bad? Like, I'm not saying his... Like, again, I feel like I have to keep clarifying this, because people will keep going back to this point. I'm not saying his damage... I'm not saying he's a bad character because his damage is bad. That's like a whole separate discussion, right? I'm saying it's very uncomfortable to use him, and it's not a... It's not a fun gaming experience when I'm constantly having to worry about, you know, a character's flaws and issues. And it's not like things that I can just ignore, right? Like bad animation or clunky gameplay. It's literally like I can't get his burst up without sacrificing something else. Sacrificing something else that's very crucial to making sure he works well. Nightfall says 4-piece Thundering Fury, spam E. Yeah, and oh yeah, and also 4-piece Thundering Fury, running his elemental skill, you have to be extremely careful. If you play it perfectly, it's insane damage output because a lot of his damage is in his E procs. But if you mess up the rotation, suddenly like you lose quite a bit of damage actually. Gilded Dreams is a much more consistent set because you don't have to worry about the timing. It'll always just have perfect timing as long as you do the first one right. It's like, bro, like this character is, it's weird, man. I'm just saying, it's kind of yikes how many things you have to be juggling at the same time when playing him. Not only do you have to worry about because his burst lasts so long, sometimes you might forget that Zhongli's shield is gone because you have to worry about Zhongli's shield being broken by enemies prematurely, right? Unless your Zhongli is just that stacked, like you're running triple HP Zhongli with his weapon, with Zhongli's signature weapon, like sure, you know, maybe your Zhongli shield's not breaking. But for me, I think I'm running HP. What was I running? HP crit rate because I'm running a Favonia's weapon, right? I think that's what I'm running, maybe. But yeah, people, listen. Does Cyno suck? Does Cyno suck? It sucks to play him right now. It sucks. He doesn't suck, but it feels sucky to play him because I know for a fact he has so much more potential. With the right team composition, he can feel so much better. But these options are not available to us, which makes it very uncomfortable because when you have played team comps that flows together flawlessly, that feels like you're just on top of the world. When not just damage, I'm not talking about damage. There are teams in Genshin Impact where everything is like down to the second and you have worked out the perfect rotation and all these characters gel together so well. It is such a great feeling. It is so satisfying to play. This character CD is down, you switch to this character, use their skills, CD's down, and then you go to this character and you know this character's CD just got off cooldown and you switch to them immediately, you can use their skill. It just gels into one perfect unison team. It is so damn sad. You guys cannot sit here and tell me you have not experienced that in Genshin Impact. That is peak Genshin experience when it comes to combat. The synergies that align with each other. Every character has their weaknesses, and it's up to your teammates and how you pair your team to cover for their weaknesses or amplify their strength. Right now, Cyno has too many goddamn weaknesses without enough team slots. We need like an extra 2 slots on your team. We need 2 more slots. If you give me 2 more slots, if I can play a 6-man team, Cyno will feel fucking amazing. That's like how I feel right now. He himself, it's actually funny because he operates as a lone wolf, right? He doesn't have a team hunting these other people. But hey, this man needs all the help in the world when it comes to team synergies. I need more team slots to fix this character's issue. As more complicated characters comes out, 5 people per team seems inevitable. Yeah, or EroticWalruss has to stop like limiting characters in this regard, or they have to create much more universal supports. Does that make sense? Listen, people. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I feel like a huge support power creep is about to come at some point. At this rate, at the rate they're releasing these characters and the direction they're headed towards, without a power creep in support utilities, for example, a healer who can also have application, who also has resistance shred or something like that. Like, they need one character to do 3 things. They don't want to create universal supports. That's right, because then they're going to lose potential sales in the future. But at this rate, like, how are you going to solve this issue? We need more omnipotent supports to deal with a lot of these new characters' shortcomings. And it has to be a 5-star character, and the additional supporting capabilities has to be locked behind 5-star constellations. Let's say, let me paint this picture for you guys. I wouldn't put it past Hoyoverse to release like an eventual Dendro healer that also has decent Dendro application, that also buffs or you know what? Actually, no. This would make more sense. A shielder and healer mixed into one, like Diona, right? But also with application. So think about it like this. A Dendro healer who can also shield and apply Dendro to enemies. Something like that. Yeah, Diona, but Dendro. And also, yeah, like if you get them to higher constellations, like say if it's a 5-star, maybe make it as C2. When your shield is on like when your shield is protecting the on-field character, they gain like 200 EM or some weird crap, like, or they gain 100% EM, or like they gain 50% EM. Nothing too broken, right? 50% EM bonus for as long as the shield is still on the character. Like, that would be a good character. Like, that actually helps Cyno immensely, right? You get a healer, you get a Dendro applicator, that's consistent, and that, like, Dendro application has to last for, like, 25 seconds. It has to be, like, Albedo's elemental skills level of duration to help Cyno. Like, it doesn't have to do damage. Remember, chat, that character doesn't need to do damage. They just need to apply Dendro. They need to apply Dendro. And their shield probably scales off of EM. Or some weird crap like that. Like, their shield durability scales off of EM. The more EM they have, the thicker their shield is. Like, we're just like theorizing what, because that character would be amazing for Cyno. Because think about it, chat. Think about it. Okay, if you have that character and then you also have the Dendro Archon, you can run double Dendro on your team. You run double Dendro, you run Cyno, you run Dendro Archon, you run that healer, and then now you don't need Zhongli. Zhongli can disappear. Then you can run an Anemo character if you want the shred and the pull. Or you could run like a second Electro character for more energy regen. Is Dendro Resonance good though? Yo, it's not bad. Dendro Resonance ain't bad. What is it? Elemental Mastery increased by 50. After triggering Burning, Quicken, or Bloom reactions, all new party member gains 30 Elemental Mastery for 6 seconds. After triggering Aggravate, Spread, Hyper Bloom, or Burning reactions, all new party gains 20 for 6 seconds. The duration of the aforementioned effects will be counted independently. See? Like 5, 6, 8. Okay. That's 100 Elemental Mastery for your entire team. If you proc all that, and you will easily proc all these conditions. It's 100 Elemental Mastery for your whole team. That's like 400 total, right? That's huge. That's pretty good. Hoyo will put all those things but on 3 separate characters. Well, then that doesn't solve the problem for Cyno. that those three need to be on one character to free up the fourth slot. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, to solve a lot of these problems, the Hoyoverse has to do this, or else this character will remain problematic. Like, I mean, sure, you can have the Dendro Archon comes out, but unless she solves two of his currently like four main problems, you're still gonna have an issue. I guess Zhongli just can't leave the team with, because if Zhongli leaves the team, then you need to replace Zhongli with a healer. I guess, okay, I guess there's this scenario. You replace Zhongli with a healer, but like an electro healer, like Dory. Yikes, I can't believe I'm even saying this. You replace Zhongli with Dory and you solve some of his energy regen issues a bit, because now you have electro resonance, and then oh, wait a minute. Ah, let's see. Does this work? Electro resonance, does it work with well, shit, no it doesn't. Oh wait, no, I guess okay, yeah. You would have to go with the quicken. Oh my god. But then at the same time, the Dendro MC doesn't have enough application. You would have to use Collei. So instead of Dendro MC, you use Collei, like C2 Collei. Yeah, because it doesn't swirl. Swirl doesn't proc high voltage, so your Anemo, isn't worth much in this scenario. Oh, this is such a headache. Like I've never had to build a character in like this. It's just such a big headache. It's like no matter what you do, something is always missing. I can't believe it. I can't believe a character would be released like this. Cyno should have been released next patch. Right now, we should be getting the Dendro Archon right this very moment. We should be on the Dendro Archon banner. Then the next is Nilou. Nilou should work very well with Dendro Archon in a Bloom team. And then Cyno should come out when the Dendro Archon comes out. And then this will feel a lot better. Because right now, everything is stuck. We're all stuck waiting for the Dendro Archon. Why would they release this character now? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why make us suffer through this? Like, this character could feel so much better if they release it afterwards. Nobody would have anything to say. JM washes, we can't. The Archon story isn't over. Oh my god. No. No. Yeah, Mage has a good point. Mage is we got Raiden Shogun before all her story concluded, like the Inazuma story concluded. Stanley says we're gonna be having the same discussion for Nilou in 3 weeks. God damn it, you're right. Oh, I'm so sad. You guys can't see my face, but I'm actually like sad. Oh, I have to wait an entire like month. Oh, I have to wait one more month for my Cyno to feel like. I guess that's how long it would take me to actually get him to level 80 or level 90 for this matter. Farming the godforsaken scarabs in the desert with no interactive map or guides. Oh my god. I think I've memorized the position of like 7 of them. And I'm literally gonna go start begging people to just let me into their worlds to collect. After like 10 worlds, I think I should have enough. Henoji says, I do agree. It is very annoying to have a character and not be able to use them. That's why I'm waiting for Cyno. Well, Henoji, the Cyno enthusiasts would say otherwise. They're like, what are you talking about? Cyno is perfect right now, just as the way he is. He has the best team available right now. And watch all of them switch out these characters for better ones down the line. And then they're very quiet when you talk to them about like, hey, didn't you say like 4 months ago Cyno was already perfect? Like, why are you changing your team up now? It's just, yeah, because right now what they are basically saying is they are okay to overlook these issues. They don't care. Like, oh, I don't see it as an issue. Energy regen, that's okay. I just do an extra rotation with my favorite characters. I love Kazuha. I love my Zhongli. I don't mind having them on my screen for an extra 2 minutes. Fine by me. That's not a problem. Well, Cyno is essentially a hyper carry, and does it make sense where when your hyper carry is off the field longer than your freaking entire support cast for your hyper carry? It doesn't make sense. Like Zhao, even Zhao, like who has certain issues, like Zhao can cycle through his burst so damn fast. Like it just takes one rotation. You use his burst, you get, when his burst ends, you go through all your characters, you go back to Zhao, dash, and use his burst. Like that's C0 Zhao. It's crazy how like we have a character now that's even worse than Zhao when it comes to his burst uptime. He's also shorter than Zhao. Yeah, by like a teeny bit. Like by just a tad. But Ichigo is better than Zhao. Yeah, I saw some people were saying, if you guys look at my video that I released today, like it's actually blowing up. I don't know why people care so much about this particular video. It's actually insane how much people care, and like there is like a literal war going on in the comment section. Like if you guys just go to my recent video and see, like half of people are defending Cyno and saying he's perfect, he's amazing, like he's so much fun to play. The other half is like, you know, like delete him from the game. No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it's crazy how polarizing, and it's like I don't even want you to go look at it. But holy smokes, it's insane. And of course, there's people in between just jumping on like bandwagons and like yeah, fuck Hu Tao. Like what? Dude, it's everybody in that comment section is just like geared for like all out war. And yeah, like straight up, I was reading the comments, like yeah, like people were like writing essays, like oh yeah, like my Cyno is like blah 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 blah, like, and then they were like, and yeah, the comment and then the comment replying to that comment is like yeah, like blah 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 blah, yeah, so fuck Hu Tao. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Like what? people are losing it. Okay, it's Genshin PvP. Yep. Oh yeah, and like I think I also saw a comment was like, this is why Ayaka's better than like Ganyu or something like that. Like people just sliding it in there. You guys should actually go read some of the comments on that video. That's like, it's actually hilarious, like how people. Let me see if I can find one for you guys. Okay, here's another person. He says like, he doesn't suck. He's just not a meta game changer. You guys are mad that Hoyoverse doesn't feed into power creep. You know? Let's see if I can find one of those. A lot of these comments gets automatically flagged by YouTube as well. Okay, so here's a dude. Not to single him out, but I'm not gonna read his name. Here's a comment, says, I don't regret pulling for him at all. Just looking at his idol animation makes me happy. And then people replying, it's just using the clown emoji to reply to this person. Like I and then the comments, like there's a comment thread that just goes into people like on one side people are saying like, oh, like meta slaves are cringe, and on the other side is like, yo, you're such a clown. Why? Hoyoverse, I swear at this point, Dawei is a vampire that feeds on internet toxicity. Where's my tinfoil hat? Grab me my tinfoil hat. Let's start a new Reddit thread confirming Dawei is a vampire that feeds off of internet toxicity. The more we get upset, and the more conflict there is about characters and stuff, Dawei gains 1 year of his lifespan. Icarus says, you guys literally wouldn't even be mad if his burst was shorter, which is laughable. Well, I don't think it's just that, okay? I think if his burst was shorter, we need his burst to be shorter, and we also need his burst to cost like 60. Like if his burst, like if his full duration was around like 13 to 15 seconds, so lose 3 seconds, and then his energy cost drops down to like 70. Maybe not 60. 60 is a little too low. 70. Right? And his burst needs to have proper, and I'm talking like Raiden Shogun levels of interruption resistance. That's what we need. His interruption resistance is non-existent. It's laughable. Then we'll talk. Okay, then we can have this discussion. Like, okay. And I think his E needs 2 charges. I want 2 charges. I want what Zhao has. At base, when he's not in his burst mode, I want his E to have 2 charges. No, actually, no. Fuck that. Even in his burst, his E should have 2 charges. And you can increase the cooldown though. You can increase his cooldown from 7.5 seconds to maybe 9 seconds. Give us 2 charges. Make it 9 seconds, and in his burst state, it'll also help people running Thundering Fury, and it'll make Thundering Fury much less marginal of a choice option. Then, right now, he can probably feel comfortable. Because then, the only problem would be his lack in damage. Then we'll talk about damage. Right now, we can't even talk about damage, because damage is irrelevant to how good he feels to play in certain teams. Like, don't get me wrong, you can definitely play him. Like, you can definitely do good damage. You can definitely clear the Spiral Abyss. You can, hell, 36 star the Spiral Abyss, okay? With the C0R1 Cyno, you can 36 star the Abyss. I know that 100% for a fact. But it doesn't feel good, man. It doesn't. And you might be asking the question, like, how can it not feel good if you're 36 star in the Abyss? Because it doesn't feel satisfying to play. Because you feel like the team has gaps in it. Walrus, I can't see your face, bro. Is your webcam malfunctioning? No. Today, I've been literally running outside all day. I'm so drained. So literally, I'm like slumped back. I'm like slumped back in my chair, and I'm about to like slide off of it. And to be quite honest with you, farming scarabs has drained me so much. I honestly feel more drained running around in a fictional desert than I have like going to the gym or some crap like that. Like, I felt like I've been running on a treadmills for the whole damn day, farming scarabs in the desert, and I'm dehydrated farming scarabs in the desert. Like, I don't know how HoYoverse did it, but they actually applied a heat stroke effect to me, IRL, through the Sumerian desert. Bench gamer heat stroke meter. You just gave them a brilliant idea. I mean, I've been talking about the heat stroke mechanic for a couple months now. I'm so glad they didn't do it. If they listen, chat, you thought farming scarabs were like is a freaking chore. Imagine doing that with a heat stroke mechanic where you have to apply hydro to yourself every 3 seconds, or else like you start like or else you run slower and you start losing health. And you drain extra stamina. Like, you can't run as far, you move slower, and all that. Can you guys imagine how annoying that would be? Like, you use stamina twice as fast, and like even walking drains your stamina, and once you deplete stamina, you have to stay stationary for the next like 5 seconds. Holy shit, man. Like, that's the true desert experience, baby. That's reserved for Notland. I like that'll be the end of like all casual players. Just like you have to now worry about rotating through your my god. That is just, can you imagine if that mechanic exists and like Nilu somehow applies hydro to yourself for like an extended period of time? I'm just bullshitting at this point. I don't even know what Nilu does, but imagine like a 5-star character that can just eradicate that issue for you. Complete, or you run Barbara. That's why no one goes to Dragonspine. Yeah, it's actually a huge pain in the ass. Sometimes I still put my commissions in Mondstadt because I've literally memorized all the commissions like the back of my hand. So like I can go in there blindfolded and do the commissions. But whenever it's in Dragonspine, I'd always just feel like, ugh. Because the one in Dragonspine is like, it's here. The one that spawns, there's like 2 of them that I get in Dragonspine. One of them is like over here. One is like over here somewhere. And the other one is like over here somewhere. There's one over here, and there's like one over here. This one over here is pretty easy, but kind of annoying as well. But the one over here, you have to go to here, and you gotta like run here, and you gotta jump off and fly over. Which, like imagine a new player coming in and having to do that commission. It's just like, yo, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry, little one. You have to go through this. Techie the virus is Walrus. All Cyno needs is HoYoverse to allow his Q to stay on even if he switches out. Bro, I said that in yesterday's video. I said it. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, it feels so awkward. If you just let me keep his burst, please. Like, how is that breaking the game? How is that game shattering? How is that gonna affect anything? You don't give him more damage. You just make him feel more comfortable to play. What's wrong with that? I mean, chat, I can't be crazy, right? Like, Techie, we have the same line of thought. Let us keep our burst. Like, it's still ticking down. It's not like it refreshes or something. It's still ticking down. Just let us keep it. So we can go back to other characters, refresh our buffs, and like refresh our shield if we need to, do whatever we want, reapply Dendro, and let us go back and keep clapping cheeks. Void says, "Am I the only one who doesn't think his energy issues are as bad as Zhao?" Okay, the thing with Zhao is what people do with Zhao is they use their elemental skill before they use their burst. Maybe I'll show you real quick. Zhao has a mechanic where, yes, he cannot gain particles once he's in his burst, but you can use his elemental skill before his burst, and the particles will fly out, and then you'll use your burst, which means his meter is low, and then the particles will actually fill him up to maybe around like 25%. Like a fourth of his bar is already filled. So like, let's just go with a fourth. So technically, Zhao only needs about like less than 60 energy costs after his burst. You need less than 60 energy after his burst. So it's actually not that difficult to get Zhao's burst back. It's very easy. Like I'm running like double, triple Favonius for Cyno teams to make him feel good. Ah, Cyno, my boy, look what they did to you. No. Becca says I have C1 Zhao, so that made it easy for me to get in. Yeah, C1 Zhao actually is a buff not only to his damage and mobility, it's also a buff to his burst uptime, energy regen. It's actually a pretty decent one. C1 Zhao is pretty good. I am running mono electro on Cyno. Hey. You gotta... Modern problems require modern solutions. So now let's answer the question, was he worth it? Because I think at this point, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, Walrus, you know, you're such a hater. You were advocating at pulling for Cyno, and now you're like, what, backtracking? Shut the fuck up. Look. If I'm backtracking, would I have gotten this? Like, dude, like I keep saying, I enjoy the character. I enjoy him to the point where I pulled his weapon. Okay? My Kazuha doesn't even have his weapon. See? I ain't a meta slave. And I only just got Venti's bow on this rerun. This is my first Venti bow. It's level 40. Just got it. Right? So a lot of this stuff is like, it's convenient for me, and I actually do enjoy. Like, look, I don't have his weapon. Where's his weapon? I don't have his bow. It's like, I do enjoy the character. I find him still fun, like whenever I can get in the zone, which is very limited for this character. In that, the span of those short 8 seconds. In those 8 seconds, I feel on top of the world with him. I feel amazing. It's so satisfying. But once those 8 seconds are gone, I feel like somebody is just beating me with a stick. It's so painful to have to like drag myself through all the problems just to feel those 8 seconds of euphoric goodness in a Cyno team. It's so painful. Because I know once these 8 seconds are over, I'm about to enter a nightmarish state where I'm gonna have to fight tooth and nail to crawl my way back. When other teams, much older teams, function at like 120% efficiency, when Cyno is barely cracking 69% efficiency. And also, for certain characters, I can't even use their signature weapon because Cyno needs them to run Favonius. It's like Cyno demands it. For my Yelan, I can't even use my Aqua Simulacra because Cyno's like, nah, girl, I need you to be running that Favonius bow, baby, please. I need it. I need it. Damn it! Why did I pull for Yelan's bow? JM watches, or how Kaching feels better in Agri than him. Don't mention it, man, please. I don't want to even think about that. For the longest time, I was like begging Hoyoverse in every survey to buff Kaching, and now they buff Kaching, and it's actually made me feel even worse. Because now a new boy is in town, and it just doesn't feel like he's getting the, you know, the support he needs to really succeed. Okay, I also want to talk about people who said this, right? Because in my video I said, well, Cyno is very dependent on Dendro reactions because you know, that's what he was designed for, and I think people took that as me complaining, saying like, oh, Cyno can't work in other teams. I literally said in the video, Cyno can be played in other teams. It just doesn't feel as good as playing him in Dendro, which I think is a fair statement. And then people's argument was, well then, Hu Tao needs to be played in vaporized teams, so does that mean Hu Tao is also like mid? Well, you see, this is where we have to get into this discussion. When Hu Tao is played in her optimal team, sure, it's monotonous, meaning like it's just monotonous. It's the same shit, right? She only has one team. But that team works. Oh boy, does that team work, and it works extremely well. There's very little downtime for all the characters. Nobody is like wasted. Nobody's just, it's like, okay, it's like you have a company and you have 4 employees in that company. And 90%, like for Cyno right now, the person you are paying a $100,000 annual salary doesn't even work 50% of the days in a year. Out of 365 days, you're paying this character $100,000 per year, and he shows up to work 50% of the time. And then all these other 3 employees, which you're paying like, I don't know, $60,000 a year per person, they show up and they do the work of your $100,000. These 3 people show up, do the work of your $100,000 salary person for the entire year, right? So that's how it feels. It just feels like the why am I doing this? This is such a bad optimization. Right? Think about it like that. Like that's essentially what's happening. With my Hu Tao team, it feels like, yeah, Hu Tao is like the star of the show, right? Yes, I'm paying Hu Tao the $100,000 salary, but Hu Tao is showing up every single day and overtime. Hu Tao is deserving of that $100,000 salary. And Xingqiu is very deserving of that $60,000 salary. Xingqiu is doing the job of a $60,000 salary employee. Yalan is doing the job of an $80,000 salary employee. Zhongli is doing the job of $80,000 salary employee. And this whole thing works as a well-oiled machine. Every bit of resource you're putting in is working. They are moving corpses like it's like their livelihood depends on it, right? That's the Hu Tao team, right? They're just shoveling coal, moving corpses, and they're like getting the job done. Whereas Cyno is over here, you know, like applying for 50 day, like applying for 100 days of paid vacation every day, every year. I mean, yes, they both function in very specific elemental reactions. Hu Tao needs Vaporize. Cyno prefers, I mean, I would say Cyno needs Dendro. Like, yeah, you can play Melt Hu Tao. You can. No, like, you can. Like, who says you cannot play Melt Hu Tao? Hu Tao can melt. Cyno can, you know, Cyno can play in, like, vape load teams or something, like electro charge teams. Hell, put him in a superconduct team. Who cares? Of course he can do it. He has the reaction available to him. It's just like you can hire Kobe Bryant, right? Or LeBron James, or or some sort of Stephen Curry to work at a Walmart cashier. They can do it. They have arms, legs. They can communicate. They can swipe barcodes. Right? Like, I mean, if you're a football player, you can hire Messi to go do a car wash. Who says these people can't do it? But would you say that their talent is fully utilized? Like Messi working at like a drive-through car wash, or like working at McDonald's serving flipping burgers, is that fully realizing that person's potential and talent? That's what we're saying, right? Like Cyno can be played in Superconduct, Electrocharge. Hu Tao can be played in Melt and Overload teams, but those aren't, you know, those aren't fully realizing the talent and potential of these characters. So when we come back to Cyno, right, like why was I saying Cyno prefers a good Dendro support that can both sustain his incredibly long duration of on-field burst time, as well as providing decent application and maybe some buffing to help funnel more power into this character, because he does need a little bit of help with getting his damage numbers up there, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get this character to realize his full potential, and these are the tools and support needed to get him to that position. Hu Tao is already in that position. I'm seeing like a young talent that needs help. Cyno needs help right now. Hu Tao is like the old guard, right? Hu Tao is like the Michael Jordan of Genshin Impact. She's set. She's done. Like her era, like I'm not saying it has come and gone, but I'm just like, Hu Tao doesn't need people to go back and say like, oh my god, let's go scrutinize Hu Tao teams. Hell, Hu Tao just got a buff recently, indirectly. Right now, Cyno needs help. He needs the support to help him fully realize his potential. And I'm sure they will come. I'm sure HoYoverse will add those supports. It's just that it's weird to me they didn't release those supports first. But then again, if they release those supports first, nobody's going to pull for them because there's no need for them. Right? The reverse problem will also exist. You pull the Dendro Archon. What are you going to use her for? What team are you going to run her in? It's the same problem. I just realized that. Damn, that's so sad. You pull the Dendro Archon. You have no one to use her with. Well, I guess you can use her with Kaching. You're 77. What's up, bro? What's up? What's going on? Jose Enrico says, but she has more options than Cyno, though, if she was released today, to be honest. Yeah, she definitely has more teams. Actually, it would make more sense. You're right. Moonlight says, well, can you read Discord later? Thanks. I can read it now. What's going on? Moonlight, I got you. Don't worry. That's it. That's a yes. 100% customer satisfaction. Cyno is in a worse spot, and Nilo might be in one too. You know what would solve this problem as well is if HoYoVersus came out and told us what the Dendro Archon can do. They're keeping a lot of their community in the dark. I know a lot of people who don't look at leaks or who don't actively seek out leaks. They have no idea what the hell's gonna happen next patch. Spy Fox's her leaks are already out. Yeah, but a lot of people don't look at leaks. Like, I don't look at leaks. I don't actively go search out for leaks for these characters, but if you just think about this logically, she's going to be a Dendro character. Who does Cyno need right now? A good Dendro character to support him. It doesn't take a genius to piece those two together and be like, okay, so whatever Cyno needs, there's a very good chance the Dendro Archon facilitates a good portion of that. Jose Enrico says, yes, because people is telling me she's good for Cyno, but why though? Exactly, why? What's so good about her? So don't answer that. Don't answer that in chat, because those are leaks. But if HoYoVersus came out and showed us what the Dendro Archon can do, like give us a short teaser introduction and like this is a character, that would help a lot, right? That would make people, it could get a conversation started. Marcus Bullock says, but let's discuss this. What if the character needs to be on field to use Dendro? Would that really be useful for Cyno or any Dendro character for that matter? We need some on off field. Okay, to help Cyno, the character needs to do this. They need to use Dendro and then they can get off the field, but the Dendro application stays on field. So essentially, we need an off-field Dendro applicator. We need somebody who can have presence off field. If they like Tignari is an on-field Dendro applicator. If we get a character, if Dendro Archon turns out to be an on-field character that applies Dendro, then we are absolutely boned for Cyno. Ash Fade says, it really seems like they pushed the Archon back a patch to make any Cyno and Nilo havers feel pressure to get her once her kit is revealed. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I said before that there's a very high chance the Dendro Archon is going to be the glue to a lot of these team comps. I'm not surprised. But it's still, understanding that is one thing, but actually having to live through this and play Cyno for the first month, fully knowing that he's not going to be, he's not functioning at peak potential, just feels kind of bad. It's kind of like buying a Tesla and paying for the full auto drive package without even having the auto drive package. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, like you're like, okay, I paid for it, I had the money, I just paid for it, but like you're not getting the feature. It's not available to you. But eventually it will. Actually, that's not quite the right example because you have to pay for that. Because you're not going to just get the Dendro Archon for free, so you're going to have to pay extra. So that's not a good example, actually. It's like getting a Tesla. You can't do full auto drive, but then you have to pay for another 10,000 something dollars to get the full auto drive. It's like a new feature, but the car already has that feature. I mean, maybe that's not the best example, but you guys get what I mean, right? It's like you're not getting a full completed product, and you need to purchase more to fully realize this character's potential. I mean, that's just gacha game. Like, why am I even explaining it? That's just gacha games in general. Like, you need this character to make this character feel good. And finally, if you invest enough money into like 3 or 4 different characters, eventually then you have a solid team comp for this character. Magjallan says Apple dongles, no headphone jack. Like, yeah, stuff like that. It just feels very backwards. But it makes sense. Like, think about it like this, right? HoYoverse designed Dendro system, so of course they're gonna come back and monetize it. It's just uncomfortable right now. I just don't feel... I can't say I'm very happy playing Cyno right now. My fun playing Cyno is very limited. Like I keep saying, it's like for 8 seconds, I'm having fun. And then for the other 10 seconds, I'm not having fun. Why 8 seconds again? Okay, the reason I'm having fun for 8 seconds is because for those 8 seconds, I still have my Viridescence shred on the enemies, or my Yelan's burst is still running. Like, I'm either running Kazuha or Yelan. Zhongli doesn't change, the Dendro MC doesn't change, and the Dendro MC's Dendro application eventually goes away after 8 seconds as well. So basically for those 8 seconds, you have all your buffs and applications running, and you're like just on top of the world. Everything is there. After those 8 seconds, the Viridescence wears off, or your Yelan's burst is ending, which also means that you lose, like for both of those scenarios, you lose damage. Because Yelan gives you like a ramping attack buff, whereas the Viridescence reduces enemies' resistance to Electro by 40%. So in both of those scenarios, your damage just falls off a cliff. And then you're just stuck with your Dendro reaction, if that's still on, and if the mobs are still even standing in your Dendro reaction zone. There's a high chance that, like, say they decided to do some sort of weird multi-dimensional time jump or something like that, and then they teleported behind you, which just happened to be outside of the Dendro zone. Well then, surprise, surprise, you don't even have Dendro application on them anymore. Now you're just doing raw electro damage very awkwardly on field with no reactions whatsoever. And your damage looks like crap because you don't have... Either Yelan's buff is gone, your Viridescence shred is gone, and your Zhongli's shield may or may not still be around by like the 15-second mark. If you have a very beefy Zhongli, the shield might be still there, but for the most part, even your Zhongli's shield would be gone by the 15 seconds mark. So the last 3 seconds, really, it's like the teeth kicker. It's like you got your teeth kicked in by HoYoverse with a steel-tipped boot. Like, really, it just feels like you're tickling the enemies at that point. You have no Dendro reactions, you have no Viridescence, you have no Zhongli shield. At that point, why are you still even, like, on field using Cyno's burst? Right? Then swap... Yeah, look, Kazim's getting like, then swap off, my lord. Exactly. So then why is his burst 18 seconds? What's the point? It's impossible to get the full duration. Do you guys start to understand what I mean by this character cannot realize his full potential? His full potential is the full 18 seconds. Why don't I swap off my Hu Tao after two charge attacks? Why? Right? That's fine. I could just do 1 charge attack per Hu Tao infusion. That's fine. But then why is it 18 seconds? right? So Hadmos is saying Hoyo is setting up for future supports. Exactly. That's what we were talking about, right? So Cyno, right now, it's quite... Like, I can say with confidence, it's impossible to play Cyno at his full potential. It's impossible because there are missing pieces. It's like you're trying to finish a puzzle when there's 3 pieces missing. Can you say you can 100% a puzzle when there's 3 damn pieces missing to the puzzle? You can't. It's like you bought a puzzle with a 100-piece puzzle and there's 3 pieces missing. Genshin requires 4 characters to make 1 team. And when you have a character that's like the centerpiece of your team that requires like help, like you need 3 extra pieces, and you don't have those 3 pieces right now in the game. They don't exist in the game. So you can't fully realize his potential. That's what's so annoying about this right now. Like, I know he's a good character if he just gets the support he needs, and I even know what support he needs. I can almost like say with certainty what the Dendro Archon can do without even looking at leaks. It's not here, and I'm frustrated because of that. And I know a lot of people are also frustrated because of that. Because we know I'm okay pulling for the character. It's just I have to wait another month to fully realize the character who just got released today. That's it. That's why it's so frustrating. It's frustrating. They assume it takes you a month to build him. I mean, to be honest, some people might take more than a month to build him. Icarus says, yeah, waiting is annoying. It feels like I purchased an incomplete product. And I feel like I just got hit with the each sold separately. You know, like batteries sold. You remember when you guys used to be younger? You see those advertisements on the TV, and then like they show you this amazing toy, and then at the end they have this guy saying batteries sold separately. I feel like that's literally Cyno. That is quite literally Cyno, but Hoyoverse never told you Dendro support sold separately. Like I purchased a product, and now I can't even, like, I can, like, for example, you got the robot, right? Yeah, you can still play with it. You can still manually move the robot, but you don't have the batteries to power it. So it doesn't say the cool one-liner being like, destroy all the evil Decepticons. You have to now say it yourself. Destroy all the evil Decepticons. Go, Optimus Prime. Ha! Ha! Like, I just feel stupid at this point. Zhongli shield sold separately. Yeah. It's fine. I know next patch a portion of these issues would go away. We'll see. Nadi says, supposing the off chance Nahida doesn't synergize perfectly with Cyno, it would take longer for his support. Yeah, that is a likely scenario as well. TechDevirus says Nahida won't fix him. He still cannot utilize party buffs like VV, Noblesse, and TDDS. I don't think he was ever designed to be running with VV. to be honest with you. After playing him for some time, like, I just don't feel like HoYoverse wants us to rely on Anemo characters. Think about it like this. They did it on purpose that Dendro doesn't react with Anemo. And I think the last few months are like theory crafters and people are just very copium on the fact that, like, oh my god, it's perfect because now all these elemental characters that are released can still utilize Viridescence without Dendro interrupting it. But I honestly feel like HoYoverse just straight up doesn't want us to use Anemo in these new teams. Like, straight up, I feel that. And how, like, now it's just further proving my point with how Cyno is designed. HoYoverse straight up just doesn't want you to run Anemo in these new teams. Straight up. They just don't want Anemo to exist in these teams. They want you to play with other synergies, other reactions. Like, straight up, like, VV, Tales of the Dragons, whatever, like the TTDS, and all these buffs, they don't last long enough for you to fully realize. And I think going forward, there might be more characters that shies away from these shorter, damage periods. Riona says, I still run Anemo still. Like, yes, people will continue running Anemo until there's a better Dendro option for them. Right? Once the better Dendro option appears, you will essentially be forced to drop Anemo. People are resistant to change. People do not like change. Once you're comfortable with something, you will find it difficult to change. HoYoverse has to give you such a big incentive to change. Right? And once you make that change, as long as the change is of sufficient value, you will then start adopting the new change lifestyle. But, like, it's very human of us to not want to change. If you've been playing with, like, a national team for the longest time, you don't want to change because it's been working so well for you. But if you happen to get lucky and got a certain character and you can build a new team around that character, at first you'll be resistant or you'll do it out of curiosity, then you probably default back to your national team. But eventually, as long as the new team can function very well, you will make the change over. Now we're just getting into human psychology. Like, it's like, I think a lot of the theory crafters and all of the communities has been so reliant on Anemo that now they don't want to leave it. Even if the new region, HoYoverse, has seemingly made it pretty damn clear they don't want Anemo to be the star of the show anymore, people still want Anemo to be the star of the show. They'll force it to happen until HoYoverse straight up like soft bans it. Like, imagine a new character comes out that can also, do what Viridescence can do, but they're not Anemo, right? Like, and then also characters have long ass field times, demanding it, so, like, making it so that you can't even use Viridescence with these characters. Like, for example, Cyno, you just can't use it. Tech Device as well as, I'm okay not playing Anemo, but other options are not good right now unless you do Petro. Yeah, Techie, this is the problem right now. They took away Anemo, but they didn't give us anything to replace it. Does that make sense, chat? Actually, I think we just hit the nail on the head right here. They took away something that was so damn good that we always use, but they didn't give us something in return to replace it. I guess that's what's so infuriating. Oh, what is that? Do you guys hear that? There's an alarm going off in the background. I think HoYoverse is here, chat. Well, I knew my days were limited. I knew HoYoverse was gonna find me one way or another.
Applied wet status. Damn, that's hot. Who is your most anticipated next limited 5-star? Laughing face.
My next most anticipated limited 5-star has to be the Dendro Archon. Like, Archons, I have to agree, even though they're super like mainstream and hyped up, and we all know they're going to be amazing characters, they also offer the most versatility and team options. They're literally the centerpieces of a lot of different teams, very strong teams as well, and Hoyoverse loves to base the next multiple patches of character releases around them. So I have to say the Dendro Archon. Zach is asking, are you watching the concert? No, I'm not watching the concert this year. I've been so busy. Like, literally, I'm playing like 5 different games right now, and I also have like work ramping up. Like, I'm getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night, and it just seems like work never ends, and I have not enough time to play all the games that I love and enjoy. Oh, Hoyoverse is here. Oh, you'll send their agents. Yeah, for real. Like, literally a bunch of people cosplaying as Klee just ran in, be like, doot, 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 doot. I just hear outside my door, boom, boom, Bakutan, and then the door flies open and crushes me as they apply TNT. Oh, yo, this man has been theorizing too accurately. Take him out. Bro, I think out of all the... I don't know, because I don't watch a lot of other content creators. I watch it a couple ones, but not a lot. Like, not actively, at least. The few people that I watch actively is Soul of an Artist. Yeah, that's it. Soul of an Artist, that's pretty much it. Because other content creators is just I haven't found other people who are very like entertaining, if you know. Soul is for pure chaotic entertainment. I love it. I love it when he's just like going off on Hoyoverse. Tech Device is asking, Walrus, do you think Dehya and Nilu will be mid too? I'm expecting it. I think Nilu is gonna be pretty mid. And Dehya, man, like, I really don't want to say it, but like at this point, I think Dehya is gonna go off of Virgin, and that's gonna be very mid. I am so like I am struggling to find the courage to dig deep into my existence and find the optimism to say that, hey chat, don't worry, Dehya gonna be fine, Nilu gonna be a-okay, don't even worry about it, chat. Like, no, at this point I honestly feel like it's just gonna be like a big yikes situation. Maybe Dehya would do burning. If she does burning, man, like, that just means she's not gonna be on field for most of the time, and I'm not gonna see her very much. Why do I sound like I just went through like a breakup? I honestly, dude, my heart is so broken right now because I can't play Cyno at his full potential. Like, I'm actually losing the willpower to even continue building him, because I tested a Cyno on someone else's account at level 90. So I already know what my Cyno is gonna feel like. I already know. I don't even need to build him anymore. I know what my Cyno is gonna feel like at peak when I fully level him up. After I like go through the mind-numbing grind for the scarabs, I know exactly how he's gonna play. And I'm losing the willpower. Like, I honestly feel like I just went through a breakup. It's actually tragic right now. And again, people will keep saying, Walrus, but his damage is good. I'm not talking about damage. Okay, I'm not talking about damage. He doesn't feel as fun as he should be. Like, if I want to just play for fun, I'm already having fun at level 50. Any more, like at level 1, I'm already having fun. Any more is just more damage, and I don't need that damage. Take the rest. Imagine if we waited 2 years for Ayaka and they made her kit bad like Cyno's kit. Well, they did the same thing with Zhao. Zhao was like at his release. Like, to be honest, right now I still find Zhao kind of lacking in comparison to characters like Ito. And look what they did to Yae Miko when she first came out. Like, honest to God, every single hyped up character by the community just, or like well-known characters by the community, just doesn't end up very well, because Hoyoverse just relies on hype to sell them and not actually like a good functioning kit. Look at characters like Kazuha, right? Look at characters like Kazuha. When he first got teased, nobody even knew like what the hell is this character, like, oh my god, like, you know, like we never even heard about this character, like really, like who cares? And then they make that character really OP because they can't rely on hype to sell that character. With exception to the Archon, who always have lived up to expectations. I mean, Zhongli needed a buff for people to kind of really go super hype about him, but for the most part, Archons like are the only hyped up characters that actually can live up to their hype. No other, like I'm thinking, you know, all the people at this point, if they release Dainsleif, I expect him to have like no element. He like at max he scales off of some wacky ass like Dainsleif scales with defense. At the same time, his constellations gives him extra HP. And also he requires all 4 elements to be present on the team. Oh, what? He doesn't have an element and you need 4 elements? Well, that's hey, maybe in the future we're gonna release a character with 2 elements. Hey, just, you know, wait for that. Like, they're gonna, at this point, it's just like all these really hyped up characters, right, just don't seem to work very well. Like, and the Tsaritsa has been like the Tsaritsa has been hyped up so much, and she comes out, she's gonna be like a Dendro. And I mean, she's gonna come out, she's gonna be like a cryo physical DPS healer. You deal damage by hurting the enemies, right? But I mean, you heal your teammates by dealing damage to the enemies, and she's a single target that scales with like energy recharge or elemental mastery. It's like a physical DPS who scales with elemental mastery. It like, I don't know, like I feel like all these hyped up characters, Hoyoverse finds a way to make them like, or they paywall them. They make it so, like, for example, Yae Miko. At C0, she feels very yikes, but as you get higher in constellation, she starts feeling better. Once you get to C6, she feels incredibly good. Like, at least as an off-field character. Like, that's how I feel how they've been treating these really excited, like, community-hyped characters. Now watch, Scaramouche is going to come out to be an electro healer. Or some crap like that. Scaramouche is also a character I'm really worried for right now, is that if he is a playable character and he is going to be released eventually, like what role is he going to fulfill? He seems like he's going to be a DPS character, but I wouldn't put it past Hoyoverse to really find a way to kind of, you know, mess up his kit somehow. Yeah, like Scaramouche is a 5-star electro healer, a fusion between Dory and Kuki. Imagine they release Scaramouche and he's a 4-star. My god. My god. He's a 4-star, like, and he's like the weakest electro DPS we have. Yeah, imagine Hoyoverse releases Scaramouche and then they say like the last star sold separately. The hat sold separately. Yeah. Get it, because he's a tool. Yeah, one of his constellations, like, yo, your Scaramouche is now 5-star. Congrats. Yeah, but all memes aside, like, I'm actually worried for Scaramouche. Scaramouche drains. Yeah, Scaramouche is the withering effect. Scaramouche permanently applies wither to your entire team. If Raiden is on the team, he takes her health by half. What a character. Yeah, Scaramouche can't be put into a team. Oh yeah, corrosion. Yeah, he applies corrosion to your team just by being on it. Cyno or Zhao at C0? With the rosters and characters available right now, Zhao at C0 feels better. Although Zhao at C0 also has his own issues, but right now Cyno doesn't have his best characters. But yeah, that's basically how I feel. I think I've been fair to Scaramouche, and I know that he's gonna get a little bit better at the very least next patch. But he's gonna need all the help he can get. I think he's gonna be like a low. Right now, he's like a high B to low A tier character. He's kind of around there. I would say low A just because you know, like, he's okay, but like I think people would even argue low A is too high for him. A lot of people would probably slap him in B tier if we're talking about like efficiency and stuff like that, right? Like input output. What did you put in? What did you get out? Meaning, the less you put in and more you get out, the higher the ranking these characters will be. For example, Kazuha, you literally don't need to put in much. Kazuha can function fine at like Kazuha will be very, very good still at C0 with a free-to-play weapon at level 40 with just the Viridescent set. Like a 4-star Viridescent set, Kazuha isn't gonna be that insane, like that different. You know what I mean? A level 40 Kazuha running a 4-star level 0 Viridescent set is not going to be that big of a difference. That's what we call high yield. You put in almost nothing and you get out so much. For a hyper carry, which I think Cyno is a hyper carry, for a hyper carry like Cyno, he requires an insane amount of resources, but what he gives back is just it's just yeah. So I think a lot of people would say he's B tier, like high B tier. But I don't know. I have to give him some some extra walrus brownie points because I just can't bear to see my boy getting gutted like that. So I'm gonna put him at low A tier, and I think next patch he'll get bumped up to maybe like a solid A tier character. Like below, I think once next patch hits, we get Nahida, he's gonna be below Ayato. Similar to Ito. I think he'll be closer to Ito come next patch, which then puts him at a pretty solid A tier character. That's pretty much it. It's here and now. It's asking, would you say Cyno is the most fun character in the game? Most fun. Yeah, actually, right now I would say he's the most fun. Fabka says Scaramouche C6 grants 10% hydro damage bonus to team. And it only applies when he's on field, right? That's the kind of game design we're going off of. Scaramouche C6, you can get 10% hydro damage bonus to your entire team when Scaramouche is on field. Anissa Titania Ciansipar. Oh, that's a cool name. that's actually it sounds very cool. Let me just say it again. Anissa Titania Cianipar says, what about Al Haytham? Al Haytham, I listen, at this point, I don't even want to start thinking about these other characters from Sumeru. Like, I think if I were to put a finger on, I think Al Haytham is going to be an on-field Dendro character. I think he's going to be doing his job mostly on field. I think, maybe not. But with the Dendro Archon, I find it unless Al Haytham could end up being like a Dendro Shinchu, like a character that, or like a Dendro Albedo of some sort, like stuff like that could work as well. Like I can see that happening. But I just feel like he from his design, he looks like somebody who would be an on-field character. I don't know if he's gonna have Dendro Infusion. Like, I don't even know how Dendro Infusion... If he has Dendro Infusion, wouldn't that make him like a Bloom or Hyper Bloom character or something like that? We'll see. I mean, I think I've talked enough. You guys know exactly how I feel about Cyno now. I think he's fun to play so far. I mean, a lot of that comes from the fact that he can't one-shot enemies, meaning that I get to play longer with him on field, and I get to do these like crazy... Seems like I'm doing combos when I'm really just pressing one button with his E. But yeah, he's fun to play. But he just feels inadequate right now when it not in the damage department. I keep having to say this. I feel like I'm a broken record at this one because people keep going back to damage. It's not about damage, okay? It's about efficiency. He's not very efficient right now, and I don't know if next patch is gonna fix this, or we're gonna just have to grind artifacts for the next like 3 decades, because we can rebalance a lot of these stats through artifacts. Right? So, all people care about is damage because players are DPS oriented. Yeah, like I understand that. I fully understand that. It's just people keep putting words in my mouth. People be like, "Oh, Walrus, oh, you don't do damage. No wonder you think he sucks. You don't do any damage with him." It's not about the damage. I wish damage was the only issue. Like if damage is like the easiest to solve. You guys don't understand. Damage in this game is like the easiest problem to solve. The other problems, the non-damage issues, are the ones that actually like bust your nuts wide open. So yeah, we'll see. We'll continue to monitor him, and with any new teams, I'm going to keep trying to build him. Maybe like I'm going to start diving deep into some really non-meta teams. Like, I'm actually gonna try Superconduct Cyno and see if, like, hey, maybe there's a hidden gem in there somewhere. Do you think Nilo would be better than Cyno? I don't think so. Like, at the rate it's going, I don't think so. Because right now, the biggest benefactors from Dendro is electro characters, right? Electro characters are a huge benefactor. Hydro characters, they have so many strong comms that right now Hydro Bloom teams just aren't as good. Like, yeah, it's a good reaction. Bloom is a very good reaction, but I don't think Nilu is going to be as impactful to the game state. I mean, Cyno is not impactful to the game state, but Cyno feels okay-ish. I think Nilu is going to be kind of awkward, I feel like. And then come the Dendro Archon, both of these characters are going to feel quite a bit better. But yeah, it is what it is. I think people also saying like, oh, but when Cyno gets better, Kaching and other electro characters are gonna get a bigger buff. Like at that point, I don't care about other characters. I just want Cyno to feel better. As long as Cyno can feel better, the other characters can get like a 10x damage boost, and I'm okay with it. But I want Cyno to feel like a complete character, because he doesn't feel complete right now. As he said, I feel like he doesn't have a dedicated artifact set yet. That's hard to say. Like, I find that Thundering Fury is very demanding to play him fully optimally. It's very difficult, especially when enemies leave the Dendro zone. Then you're kind of screwed, right? Like, you kind of lose the ability to apply the element all the way to the end of his burst. But once we can fix that issue, I think Thundering Fury is going to be much more consistent, which makes the set better. I think he's good. I think he's good in terms of artifacts right now. Like, at least artifacts is not going to be his biggest problem. Okay? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. And I'm going to be heading out here. I'll see you guys around. On Wednesday, actually. Maybe next Wednesday we'll see how it goes. Like the stream, subscribe. I mean, anybody who's chatting is already subscribed. So yeah, the video from yesterday, go check the comments, man. Like, there's some really crazy stuff going on in that video. Anyways, yeah, until next time, I urge y'all to stay safe. Peace. Bye bye.